This is kind of very funny, actually. But first of all, we will have Dr. Tankut Atan presenting the TOEFL ITP exam. He's been our distributor for more than, it's coming up to 10 years, I think, in Turkey. You might have actually spoken to him before. So he will provide an overview about the ITP exam. And then we will try to connect to Amsterdam to speak to Marcos Olasolo, who is our pedagogical specialist, who will provide you information about the blended learning system called English Discoveries Online. The English Discoveries Online solution is kind of a cutting-edge technology in English teaching nowadays. It's got word recognition engine and many other modules that you might find interesting. And at the end, we will have a quick Q&A session and also our draw, actually, just to put a little bit excitement to our seminar. So the university who will win our draw will have 5 institutional TOEFL exams and also access codes to our EDO blended learning system. And I just would like to say that it is kind of like a very interesting time and place that we are holding the seminar at the moment. As you know, we organize this part of the Unitergi Fair. Nowadays, students have a wide choice of sort of like universities. Obviously, we're talking about the good students, but it is also important to have a good impact on the education that we provide, and we believe that standardized testing has always a very good impact on the educational development of our students. So I'll pass on to Dr. Tankut Atan now. Thanks.
Welcome, everyone. Okay, so this microphone is working. As Oğuz mentioned, today I will be talking to you about institutional testing program of the TOEFL test. And I will try to keep it brief. I don't have many slides, just to give you an overview of the exam and how it's being used in Turkey and some statistics, etc. And after that, we will connect to the Netherlands, and that will be the blended learning part of our presentation. For questions, I would kindly ask you to wait until the end of the second presentation. If you have any questions on institutional TOEFL, we will be more than happy to answer them after the second presentation. Let's get started. This is the outline of my presentation. It uses a common European framework mapping that may be interesting for you. The test structure a little bit, benefits, and how does it work in general. It doesn't work like TOEFL IBT, the internet-based testing. The company Standard Test Eğitim Hizmetleri is an educational testing service representative in Turkey, and today I will be talking to you about the TOEFL ITP, but we also help organizing the TOEIC test and also English Discoveries Online, which you will be hearing about next. Around the world, for several reasons, TOEFL ITP is being used by thousands of institutions. Universities, secondary schools, English-to-language programs, governments, agencies, etc. And I mean, if you look at the numbers, they are significant as well. This is not TOEFL IBT, by the way. This is just the institutional testing program. It has 2 levels, but actually what is probably of an interest to a university director is the level 1, because it kind of measures the level that you are interested in, intermediate to advanced, and it has been correlated to common European framework levels. The level 2 is not in use in Turkey at the moment. There is no interest around. And the test consists of 3 different parts: the listening comprehension, structure and written expression, and reading comprehension. Those who are familiar with the paper-based TOEFL test will recognize this structure because it's exactly the same structure. It is TOEFL paper-based structure. And I mean, the pool of questions is, it consists of old TOEFL exams, but as the old exams, TOEFL paper-based exam is not given anymore, rarely, let's say, it's given, and it's being phased out. So new questions are being developed for institutional testing program, but I mean, ETS always puts the same rigor into preparing any questions, and the contents are 100% academic. I will be talking about samples of questions. Intended uses: progress monitoring, placement. You can use it as an exit exam. You can use it in collaborative international degree programs. Some Turkish universities do that, actually. In Turkey, the uses are that collaborative international degree programs, or in preparatory school, hazırlık. Some universities use it extensively. Some universities use it for a subset of students, etc. The mapping, the maximum score you can get is 677, like old paper-based TOEFL test. And you can see C1 is cutoff score is minimum 627. Of interest is B2, as it is a target for universities in Turkey, according to YÖK. 543 out of 677. And then B1 is 460. Well, there's an A2 cutoff score as well, which, according to our experience, is not very significant because most of the students get higher scores. I don't know about your experiences. I'm talking about the pool IT people. Here is a sample data. That was last September. It is a sample data. I mean, there has been no statistical rigor in this process. It's just 1,800 students. But it was a mixed crowd. As you can, and these numbers are percentages below. So, for example, if you look at B2, 84% of the test takers were below B2, which is, I guess, expected. And 41% of those test takers, 1,800 students, were below 41 points. And A2 was not significant, and there weren't many C1 level students as well. I mean, but these are like beginning university, so the profile does not include many senior year students, etc. Maybe a few, but not many. We didn't check the backgrounds of these students, but I'm pretty sure those are new beginning types. Okay, let's talk about the test structure a little bit. This is, again, for level 1, which is the one we are talking about, not level 2. We have a total of 140 questions. We have about 2 hours, and the scores can range from 310 to 677. And you get a score for each section separately, and the total score, maximum total score, is 677. So you can get 68 from listening comprehension, 68 from structure and written expression, and 67 from reading comprehension. The listening comprehension, okay, I mean, as you can imagine, it tries to measure the student's ability to understand some conversations in English. They first start with short ones, and they move on to longer conversations. You have a CD. Everybody listens to the conversations from the CD at the same time, and then they answer the related questions during the pause between the questions. And here's an example. It's a short conversation. So the answer is, let's say, he doesn't like the painting either. I mean, but you can see it's a pretty short conversation for this example. Then comes the structure and written expression. Let me move on to the sample item maybe. We have fill in the blank type questions, for example. They can be testing vocabulary or they can be testing grammar. Here in the example below, I think you need to use that's another type of question where the student has to recognize what makes that sentence incorrect. Here, I guess it was a passive voice that needs to be used, yeah, called. Then comes the final section, reading comprehension, where you get text, academic in nature, something that you can find in textbooks, university textbooks. The students read those passages and then answer questions about those passages. Here's an example about railroads. There are 5 of them in the normal test booklet. At the end, the institution receives 2 score reports. One is meant for the student and one is an institutional copy. Interested students can also ask for a certificate. They are also available, but the routine procedure is you get 2 score reports, institutional and students' individuals copy. They don't look like that. They are smaller, where scores are printed, etc. We also provide distributional reports, what percentage received below this point, what percentage of the students received below that point, etc. You don't have to do it yourself, basically. Those reports can be easily generated in Excel or whatever, but you receive those standard reports as well. How is it used? How does it work? And what are its benefits? It's available on demand. If you set a date, you contact us in advance. Let's say a month in advance. Since the academic year is pretty much rigidly set anyway, you know your exam dates, so you can even provide it at the beginning of the year. There are several forms each year, and they are renewed every year. So every year there are 8 to 10 new forms, total different sets of questions. And each year only those test booklets are used, and then we move on to the next set. As soon as we receive the answer sheets, the scoring is done, and then the reports are sent as quickly as possible. We know you are you have very tight schedules as far as the academic year is concerned. You may have other exams, the school year may be starting, etc. So our priority during university exams is TOEFL ITP scoring. It's an on-site administration thing. Actually, you administer it yourself. So we send the materials, you administer it with your instructors, and as long as there is enough separation between the students, so there is no maximum number of exams that can be given. There is no limit like that. It's just this room, you cannot have 2 people sitting next to each other, but this room may have 30, 40 students, so this exam capacity of this room is 30, 40, for example. Tools like this, and there will be also a blended part, but these are just tools to make teachers' lives easier. I mean, you don't spend time preparing a test. This is a test, standardized test, used over and over again. I mean, it has been used as a TOEFL test in the past. Now you can use it for your own purposes. You can be sure that it is statistically valid. Those prior work, statistical work, has been done by ETS, Educational Testing Service, and they are very good at this. And the moment you need another test, well, we have another form. So you don't have to quickly prepare another form. And I don't know how much statistical analysis you have time to do for these tests. But the advantage of standardized tests are that the scores are comparable to each other, even when you give separate forms. And for the same person, you are going to get very similar results in a short period of time, which should be. And how does it work? I'm coming to the end of my presentation. You place an order. The materials are shipped to you just a few days before the exam date. You receive them, you check them, and you make sure that the numbers are correct. You administer the exam and then return all the materials, used or unused. And then you receive those score reports and distribution reports, etc. And invoicing, we send you, based on your estimate, let's say you guess that there will be 200 students taking the exam, but it doesn't turn out that way. We send you 200 test booklets, and then if, let's say, 150 of them actually took the test, then you are only invoiced for 150 test booklets. So we don't invoice you for 200 test booklets. People often ask, okay, how can I study for it, etc. Well, there is kind of a new book which includes 2 practice tests. Unfortunately, I mean, we have some samples of these, but unfortunately it's not available in any bookstores. It's not widely distributed. But we have samples of these if you are interested. And the test taker handbook is meant for everybody. There's a PDF document, and actually students are meant to read these like any other exam, TOEFL, IBT, TOEIC, etc. But test takers are pretty bad in reading these types of instructions, actually. Some useful links, and ETS on its website has also some other sample questions which may be of interest. As I said, this was my last slide. If you have any questions, please wait until the end of our second presentation. I will be more than happy to answer all of your questions. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Tankut. Our next topic in the seminar is actually blended learning. It is basically one of the most recent developments in learning methodologies, as you know. And rather than giving a standard presentation about the platform or system, we actually thought that we want to demonstrate to you how the system actually works. We intend to connect with Marcos Olasola in Paris via our online system, and he will then show you how the system works, and he will also explain to you the benefits of blended learning and an overview about English Discovery Online. So, Marcos, can you hear me? Oh, sorry. We cannot hear you at the moment. I think we need to connect first. 1 second.
Connection şu anda şey. Telefon.
1 second, sorry.
He's going to call him. I think he has dropped out of this. We thought this would be more in spirit with a blended learning, learning, distant.
Okay. We are waiting. Thank you. Okay.
Bakayım. Bağlanmadı.
Bağlamadı.
Bağlanacağım demedi mi?
Yeah, he will be with us in a couple of minutes. Sorry, we are always running a risk about when you rely on technology. So, but I hope. Yeah, he is now online. Okay.
Marcos, can you hear us?
Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. Do you hear us?
Hello, here from Amsterdam.
Hello.
Can you hear me,
Hello.
please?
Yes, we can hear you.
Microphone disconnected.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Marcos. Do you want to connect?
Can you hear me, please?
Yes. Just say yes.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. 1 second.
Okay. Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As August announced to you, I'm going to present to you our e-learning solution EDO, English Discoveries Online. So I'm Marco Solasolo. I'm calling you I'm ETS pedagogical expert here based in Amsterdam. And I guess I have half an hour to show you what EDO is and to talk you about this solution. Just as we know, we don't have too much time and we won't have time for questions. I would advise if you have any question, please write it down. And I don't know if we have time after this half an hour, so I would be glad to answer some of these questions or we'll be in contact afterwards. All right. The first thing I'm going to do before I start is, of course, show you the platform. Before that, I'm going to have just a brief presentation of what the product is. Okay? So English Discoveries Online, it's an English language learning solution that is, in fact, conceived for both blended and distance learning. Right? The idea for me for you today is to show you a very, brief introduction to the product. But in fact, you will have an idea of what the product is. Now, I'm going to share the screen just right now. Okay? All right. I'm sharing my screen. I hope all of you can see the screen. Is it all right? Can you see the screen? Good. Okay. Just a brief introduction. We're going to show you what English Discoveries Online is, and then we're going to connect into the platform so you have an idea of what this solution looks like. All right? Okay, just a first introduction about what English Discoveries Online is. As I was saying, it's a comprehensive technology-based English language learning solution that is, thought and conceived for both blended learning and distance learning models of implementation. I'm going to try to explain to you this short difference between these two kind of models, all right? Okay, so it's been, EDO has been in the market for quite a long time now, 20 years. You know, it has globally acquired the product, so we thought it was a really good complement for all the assessment, let's say, solutions and products we have, that this was a good solution and a good product for learners of English to progress in their language learning. All right. EDU has been used widely around the world, mainly in most continents, but as you see here in Latin America, in Europe, in Asia, we started in North Africa also, and of course we already have some users in Turkey. Okay. The thing is, is very important for you, since I know all of you come from universities. We do have different clients depending on what the use of EDO is, okay? So academic institutions such as language schools, corporations, and governmental agencies. The important is by a very large amount of students inside within one institution. We have, for example, the University of Chihuahua in Mexico, with 1,000 students. We do have, clients with 30 or 35 students. So depending on what they use, it can be adapted to all these kind of customers. All right. EDO has been localized into 25 languages. This means that we have 25 languages in the platform that can help our students using their, let's say, other tongue. So, of course, we teach English. It's been used in over like 30 countries, in 19 ministers of education, the use of EDO around the world. Okay, just a few facts before I show you the platform, and in what way we could, be different from other solutions in the market. As any kind of e-learning solution, you have flash animation, live action, role play. Single word speech recognition engine. Our speech recognition engine is really I would say there is a little bit, that, as I'm going to show you in the platform, that of course the student can search in the platform, but the thing is, like with EDO, you can have a feedback from the machine and you can send your recording to the teacher, and the teacher is going to be able to check your recordings and send his or her feedback. Very important. About all language skills or levels are covered in the platform, listening, reading, writing, vocabulary, grammar, speaking. Okay, so the learning units are adapted to local curricula. It's very important here to know that one of the characteristics of EDO is that since we are specialized in blended learning, we can adapt, we can adapt the platform to the content of the institutional school. That is, we have 1,200 hours of content in the platform that I'm going to, again, show you in a few minutes. But the most important thing is that you can adapt your content to the content of the platform because it's a very flexible tool and solution. Very important, advanced monitoring systems for multiple classes. We have automated assessment tools, which, with the experience of ETS in assessment and this joint with EDO, we have very powerful assessment tools. And this is going to allow, teachers to even, change the course and the study plan of the students depending on what their performances are and the progress. We have a teacher authoring tool. We can create activities in the platform as teachers. We have a very, powerful tools, the authoring tool and the course builder, which I'm going to explain also in a few minutes' time. And very important, in our community side, besides these 1,200 hours content we present in the platform, divided up in 10 different levels, We do have forums, a magazine issue that is updated every month, and vocabulary games, etc. All right? We provide a wide range of services. Just I'm going to be very brief here, but it's very important for you to know. We provide pedagogical, pedagogical support. So we do provide trainings for teachers before we, set up any first client, before EDO is going to be used in an institution, school, any kind of educational environment. There is a training for teachers and administrators, the ones who are going to use the platform as administrators. That's very important. We have also different flexible delivery options depending on what the situation of the university is. If, for example, we have an online solution, which is the one I'm going to show to you today, an offline solution. We have also EDO Mobile, that is students can follow the progress and use EDO on their mobiles, mobile phones. And then we have all that is about certification and assessment, that is we have really tests all along the platform, more than 300 tests in the platform after each lesson, and then a midterm test and a final test in the platform. All right? I'm going to go through this. This was I was talking to you. See, so we have internet. We have also EDO can be delivered in USB keys. And in DVDs and CDs, and then we have the latest version of the mobile EDO. All right. So just to sum up before we go to the platform, EDO is not just a learning platform, which is the first, of course, the content, 1,200 hours content. Okay, 1,200 hours divided up into, let's say, 10 levels from A1 to C2. We have a correlation table with EDO levels and the CFR levels. We have training services provided by our pedagogical department. We have curriculum integration, which I'm going to explain briefly right now. That is, if you have your content, we can adapt, let's say, the content of the platform to your content. So the blended learning is real blended. And then we also have the possibility of creating content for you. And that's let's say the most important thing about EDO also is like we do help the clients to to find in what way they could use the platform adapted to their needs. Flexible delivery options, as I was telling you, with CDs, DVDs, USB keys, and EDO Mobile. And last but not least, ETS experience in assessment and EDO's experience in blended learning and distance learning, made that all through the platform you have specific tests that are going to help out the students in their progression. All right. The last slide I'm going to show you before we go to the platform is the different models of implementation. Very important for you to understand how EDO would work. So we do have blended learning, so EDO as blended learning and EDO as distance learning. Of course, blended learning, most of you know what blended learning is, although sometimes it's used not in a very, let's say, accurate way. Let's say blended learning is not just a mixture of face-to-face classes and then e-learning, but of course that's the point. The most important thing is that the face-to-face sessions have to be related and linked to what the student does in the platform, and this is the very specificity about EDO. We have three different models. EDO integrated with EDO classroom materials. That is, we provide the materials, we provide the content in the platform, and we provide the classroom materials for the clients. That is, if you don't have content or you want to change, let's say, your methodology or your method or your content, we can provide the whole course, the activities for the classroom, and the activities in the platform. Classroom and platform, all the activities delivered by and produced by ETS EDO. This is an option. The other one is like, let's say you have your content, your books, or the content you produce yourself. We're going to create the link between these contents and the platform. We're going to provide you with, like a teacher guide, like, all the, let's say, kind of suggestions and pedagogical proposal, let's say, to facilitate this transition between the classroom and the platform. And then the third model would be EDO just as an enrichment. So you have your own material, you do your own, let's say, face-to-face sessions, and then you use just mentor enrichment. That is to the link between your classroom materials and the platform. And the distance learning model, which is purely distance,
Yine bir sıkıntı yaşadık. We ran into a difficulty with the internet, I believe.
We have even clients that use only the distance learning solution, like the BBVA bank in Spanish bank in South America, right? Can you see the screen? Okay, August, can you see the screen?
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay, I'm going to keep speaking and I'm going to share the screen with you. So, at least if you see the screen, okay, my screen, now it will be the platform. Can you see the platform on your...
Yes.
Can you see the platform? Can you see the home page of the platform?
Yes.
Hello? Okay, good. Okay, can you hear me now? I hope so. Okay, so coming back to the platform, please, August, if there is a problem with the sound, you just can tell me, okay? Perfect. Okay, so this is the aspect of the platform. Quite simple because we want it to be user-friendly either for students and teachers. I understand that most of you, are university directors, come from, and you are interested in seeing how it works for students and teachers, which is what I'm going to show you. The platform has, I go quite fast, so we have the time. The platform has 3 different accesses: student, teacher, and administrator. I'm going to show you all 3 of them, focusing on student and administrator, which is the same as teacher. Okay, as you see here, there is a placement test in the platform. The placement test, I'm not going into the details. We don't have the time to do it together, but just to show you, it's a placement test that should be, done by the student before. It's around 30, 35 minutes. It can go up to 45 minutes, depending on the level. Other students will have 44 questions, and the test is reading, listening, and grammar. Okay? This is the model. It's an evaluative test. You have 2 cycles, so depending on your answers on the first cycle, you're going to have a different cycle proposed in the second cycle, so that means it's pretty accurate. Once the student finishes his placement test, he's going to have the content in the platform. This is the content of the platform: 10 levels, 10 courses, from first discoveries to advanced 3. This is, we have a correlation with the CFR and TOEFL levels, goes from A1 to C1 and some C2 content also. Each course is divided up into 8 units, right? As you see here, this is just one of them. And each one of these units is divided up into at least 5 lessons. These lessons, the units are topic-based, other lessons are skill-based. That is, you will have listening, reading, speaking, grammar, and vocabulary. You can have from 1 grammar activity up to 3, which means that you will have at least these 5 skills. Of course, writing also is in the platform, usually in the grammar and vocabulary exercises. All right? Each one of these activities is divided up into 3 sections: explore, practice, test. So as you see, you're going to have you're going to have 1 test per lesson, which means if you have, like at least 5 lessons per unit, and you have 8 units per level, so you have more like 300 tests in the platform, and then, of course, the midterm and final term tests. All right? Okay, good. Since we don't have that much time, I won't go into the details in the students' access, just show you a little bit just some of the functions on the platform, and then we go to the teacher's access. As you see here, this is the explore part in any of these lessons. It's the context of the lesson, as you see here. This one is about, you see, well, let's try another one just for you. Okay, so as you see here, we're going to use helping out, and then we go to the listening section. So you have explore, practice, test. The explore part is the content of the lesson. Just for you to see, there is a video, okay, in which usually very short videos, not to to keep them, the attention of the student.
If I were you, I'd use something like this. I beg your pardon.
So you see, this will be the video. So of course, in the video, where you have some possibilities, you can have the script for those who are more, not that auditive learners, more than, not that visual, but more auditive learners. The idea here is not just because we're going to help them out to understand, but it's just because they can hear just a part of the test. So just a sentence, and then the teacher, the student can record himself, right? So it's like you can listen to the sentence, and then you can pronounce it as a student. I beg your pardon? Okay, you see, I've been practicing for hours, but I just cannot get the best score. No, just kidding. So you see, the important thing is you have feedback from the machine, from red to more, let's say, from red to green. You have several possibilities, and the one, once you have the good one, you can send it to your teacher. I beg your pardon? Okay, this is better. I decide to send this one to the teacher, and the teacher will get that into his or her system. That is one of the advantages of EDO. Before we finish, in the students' access, you have then the practice for each one of the parts, which is going to be 5 or 6 exercises, and then the small test at the end of each lesson, which is going to give you the level for each one of the skills. The community side is very important. We will have forums for students to discuss about some subjects, like this one about the weather. So this is being created by the teacher. Then you have the magazine, which is quite interesting for students because they have magazines about all these subjects. As you see, each text is, written for different 3 levels, adapted to the 3 different levels. So you can use the same subject for all your different students. Then, excuse me for me being so fast because I guess it's just an overall impression. Then you have words and idioms exercise. On this 1200 hours content, you have all this content in the platform. By the way, the magazine is updated every month. All right? Just to show you the LMS of the platform, which is one of the important things here. All right? I'm going to connect as an administrator. By the way, would be the same as for the teacher in most of the features. As you see, the most important thing here, this is the admin access of the teacher. You have the teacher corner. The teacher's corner is our LMS, and the LMS is going to allow you to do many things with the platform. You're going to be able to registrate and add students into the platform, create the architecture of the platform for your school with the different classes. Like you see, if I go to classes, I will have the different classes in the system. As you see here, you can create groups inside the classroom, as you see here, and you can, no groups are created in this one, but you can have You see, different possibilities when you have classes. Okay, you can check your students in the platform. As you see, some of the students, you know, proceeded and completed the placement test, and when you are a teacher, you're going to check your students, you know the level, so you can send them material. The curriculum part is where you're going to create activities. So this is where you're going to send the content to your students. You choose a class, ETS Global, you choose the whole class or just a student in the class, and you decide which level to send. Either, you know, 2 or 3 levels, depending on the time they're going to have to complete their course. And inside each one of the levels, you can choose all the components or just the ones you consider important for your students. All right? Okay. You have the course builder, which is, let's say, a part of the platform in which you can rearrange the content in the platform. And when you have the course builder, you're going to be able to create new modules, you know, from the content already existing in the platform. Let's say you want to create a module on sports because your students are really interested in that subject. You're going to the search tool, you're going to see all this content in the platform about sports. That's a lot of hours. You can decide to create a module. Then you go to view all courses, and you will have, for example, the modules you created in the platform. Like, for example, this one for travel, airport, or sports that I created here. See? That's, if you have a look, someone created a very, you know, short activity on sports. All right? So the platform is flexible. You can add content. You can create content inside. The authoring tool is going to allow you to create. This is different. It's not something you're going to do from the content of the platform. This is something you're going to create from scratch. You're a teacher. You decide to import, let's say, to add some material you have already created during the year for specific students. You can do it. Or just you can create, let's say, you can use the templates we propose here, and then you can create a writing activity with a test with all the different, you know, possibilities. So you, as a teacher, if you're creative, can add content into the platform. You can add videos, you can add PowerPoints, PDFs, and you can add even the materials you use for teaching English. All right? Trying to be brief. The report session, very important for teachers to track students' progress. We are specialized in blended learning and distance learning, of course, but it's very important to know what the students do in the platform. By the way, the student can also follow his or her progress in the platform by going to student progress. That just to show you, as you see here, if I would check a student in the platform, his progress, this case is sorry, so it's progress. And in each one of the units, not a good job here, basically, activity didn't complete from one lesson to the other, not good. By the way, we can block the access from one lesson to the other from the platform. Everything is customizable. The level, the passing grade for the test, different functions like blocking the students for not going from one lesson to the other, etc. Which, by the way, this is a demo platform. So here the student did, something really wrong because he didn't complete most of the assignments. So you have all different kinds of reports. Students for the class, if you get here the ETS Global class, you will have an overall, you see this is for the class test course, so it's going to be the test course for the class, or the class completion, what the class has completed, as you see here, what the class has completed. Very visual, can give you an idea of who is working, who is not working. And also the time the students spend on the platform, which is going to be really useful for many reasons, so you can control how long the students, stay in the platform. All right? You also have the students' recordings. Remember, we were students, we sent the recording. It was students 703, 704, or 704 by the way, which is not here. But, we have a recording here from the student that was sent to the teacher. This is the original. So if I go to the record here, so Jeff, are you a student? So we listen to the student's recording. And then we consider, this student, it's okay, fair here for pronunciation, for phonemes, intonation is good, overall pronunciation is fair, and then I have automatically the score. This score is going to be sent to the student, and with a comment from the teacher if we want to comment and a further comment on the listening. So you see the feedback is important between teachers and students. Then, okay, you have the community side reports. You can see, what the students have been doing in the community side. And in supervisor reports, and this is different, you as a supervisor, that is the supervisor, the pedagogical head of department, whatever, you can check what the teachers have been doing in a specific period of time. This teacher did from the 1st of May to today. And then you can have an idea if something is wrong with your students, because maybe it's for several reasons. Maybe it's because the teachers don't work properly in the platform. So you see this one didn't create any forum, didn't check here the mail. But by the way, the other teachers are doing not that well comparing to this teacher here. So you see all these kind of reports. Then in the communication tab, you can create the forums, assign the forums to the students, and send and moderate the forums. And you can interact with the student by going to your inbox, checking your messages, and then, of course, write messages and send them to a student in the class or to a whole class. All right? So this is when either you want to send some feedback or when you want to, tell them that there is a forum that has been created, etc. You always, will communicate to the classroom, like, by ticking on the students, or just sending the message to the whole class, right? Assessment is where you're going to, of course, all the tests are automatically produced and by the machine, by the system, but then you're going to send the midterm and the final test. Here you're going to be able also to, as I told you, you see, the component test are the small test in the platform. You can also, customize the passing grade for the test. I'm going to change it, like, for example, 65, you see? And then that's something you can do from the teacher's access or administrator's access, right? So, and in fact, you have settings in which you're going to also be able to change some things in the platform. You can add a video, you can change the look and feel of the platform, colors, text, etc. You can customize the language, full support, no support, or half support. That is, your students are going to have the platform partly in the language or everything in language, etc., in English, etc. And you can, like, for example, create a specific the matrix here, which is the document, the final document for the students. You can, create it here in the assessment, in the settings tab. All right? So you go here to the matrix, which is a document that the student is going to have at the end of the course. So you're going to be able to customize this document depending on what you consider important in your class. That is, some of the aspects are going to be automatically, scored by the system. Some others, like project work or class participation, are going to be completed by the teacher. So this is pretty much what you have in the platform. I mean, it's very rich. It's very, very, exciting from my point of view, for teachers, because the idea here is the students and the teacher, the core of the system and the method, and we consider that both students and teacher are important, so we take into consideration this. Okay, I see the messages now. Okay, I just stopped here. My question is, because I thought we have just 30 minutes, are you are enabled, you can use the microphone. Can you hear me? Because I cannot hear you the sound anymore.
We can hear you.
All right. I cannot hear you, but since you use the chat box, it's okay. Is there any question, or do we have some time left? If we do, tell me. Okay, okay, no problem.
I guess if you have questions, we
Okay,
can
you have
type
time.
them.
How long do we have? Is it possible to know? Just for me, just show you.
10 minutes? 15 minutes?
Like 15, 10 minutes? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. It's clear for me. Okay. Good. Perfect. Okay, since I'm going to, okay, what I'm going to do is like, let's, coming back to the students' access, you see what I'm doing, so this is what any user do when they connect into the platform, okay? So I go as a student. All right. Okay, good. You just have to.
Okay. All right, let's do that. I guess once we can type the questions, sometimes the connection is bad, so even the typing doesn't work. But
okay.
I guess now we're on the same page with us. So
I think that's a good idea if even from this very, let's say, speedy presentation, I'm sorry about that. Are there any questions?
First of all, the connection has been rather poor. We tested this before our seminar, actually, and it worked
All right.
well. It worked
Perfect.
well, and we were able to communicate with Marcos. But technology is very risky. Unfortunately, sometimes the connection, in particular, it's not working sometimes. But I would really appreciate if you have any questions, so that I can.
So I guess you can hear me. Yes, I see. Someone is. So you're typing, waiting.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you all the time if you can hear me. So I'm going to make sure. Can you hear me now?
Well, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Okay, good. So, okay. Are there any questions from your side?
First of all, Marcos, can you hear me at the moment? No? Okay. Does anyone have any questions about the English Discovery Online system?
Yeah. Can you write a question on the chat box? Okay, yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. No questions?
By the way, did you... Okay. Because the mic was working before, so I don't know what the problem is.
Okay.
It's still interactive, but okay, there are no questions. Since we do have some time, I just want to stress some of the, let's say, features you can have in the platform. And then, if there is any question, please stop, okay? Stop me. I was showing you the different features in the students' access. I just didn't have the time to show you, some of the other features, the grammar book, the My Progress tab, where the students can follow their own progress in the platform. You see this student here is completing different courses, and as you see here, this is, for example, the progress of the student. So that allows the students to know all the time where he or she is, and then proceed on the lesson. The students can listen to this, so they can, just check the progress also in this part of the practice, and then they will be able to listen to what they have been, right? Some other features also, it's if they want to communicate to them, with the teacher, they the platform, and where you have support here is going to be the place where the student is going to send messages to the teachers. In my profile, students change some of the information like their own password if they want to have access with their own password to the platform. Something important about the community.
Oh yeah, he's Latin American, so.
I'll speak to Marcos later on and explain to him. We tested this yesterday, and we were able to communicate very well with Marcos. I was asking him questions, he was answering, and it was really working well. But internetin azizliği diyelim. But I think that we were able to cover some of the modules of EDO. I mean, especially word recognition and the pronunciation functionality was, I think, kind of interesting. We were able to see the teacher access, where you can monitor your students' attendance and their attendance using the platform. And I mean, EDO would like to define itself as an interactive learning platform. I mean, it is a platform actually, and you can use it according to your needs. You can modify the content. You can have English for specific purposes. One of our clients is actually really interested in developing a particular test for a specific sector, so you can actually do that. But it is specific for this course. I just would like to say that we will continue with these sessions. This is our first one this year, and if you have if you are interested, we can even do individual sessions in the future by just sort of like speaking to me or would you like to add anything?
Oh, maybe there are actually questions.
Yeah, please. I mean, anything about the TOEFL ITP, or today we have actually Tülay Imre here in our seminar. She's our TOEFL IBT sort of like academic counselor for Turkey. We can also have questions about TOEFL in general, but our main the presentation was for the institutional TOEFL testing, which is, as I said, more and more used by many Turkish universities. We are actually onboarding some state and public universities now here in Turkey as well. So, any questions? Any? Yeah.
I noticed that the TOEFL ITP, there actually wasn't a speaking component. Would you recommend something else to substitute for that element?
Yeah, you are right. TOEFL ITP doesn't have any speaking.
Yes, it doesn't have it, and well, there are plans of developing a speaking and writing component as well. I mean, TOEFL has it. The thing with that is it makes the scoring part not very quick then. I mean, since this is an optical form, you can get the results immediately. It's good for, testing masses of people, and you get a pretty good idea about their levels, etc. But when you include the speaking test as well, you also run into practical issues. I mean, there are plans of taking the real TOEFL and making it similar, making the institutional part similar as well, but it has not been implemented yet. So in that case, the recommendation would be, either perform your own speaking assessment, or depending on your needs, really. But it's a good tool for, testing masses of people and getting an understanding of the profile. I mean, what's your current level, B2, B1, where are you at? And, then you can target the general audience so knowing the general level. So recommendation is use your own. Well, because there is none in institutional TOEFL. If you are using institutional TOEFL, you should be aware of that.
Any other questions? Yep.
Can you talk a little bit about the pricing? Does the price change depending on the number of test takers, or?
Are you talking ITP?
ITP.
Yes. I mean, the low-level usage price is 39 euros plus tax. And if your volume is higher, there are increments from that. But, I mean, it really depends on your volume. You know, the next level is 37, for example. You know, 39, 37. But these are volumes per order. So if you, unless you have really high volumes, you don't really, I mean, the price is already pretty low compared to, you know, IBT type, you know, high stakes tests. And only if you have really thousands of users a year, then you can get maybe down to 30 euro level, just to give you an idea. Okay.
Any questions about EDO? No? Well, in this case, I think it's time for our draw. We thought that we will do that right in front of you so that there is no controversy.
So, how many institutions do we have? 15? There are 15 numbers in here?
I've got 10 here actually. So shall we just take...
Some people did not.
Yeah. Okay. We'll just if the institution is not here, so can we just ask somebody to do the draw?
This is normal tombola. We bought from the market. There are 15 numbers in it. And it's number 2. And,
so this is number 2, Işık Üniversitesi. So you've got five TOEFL tests, institutional TOEFL tests.
Yes, yes.
So and the second draw is for English Discovery Online. We will provide you with access codes just to play around with the system, and I think the pronunciation part looks quite fun actually.
Our first guest, yeah. Number 10.
Number 10 is Yalova.
This slide.
How did you do that? Okay, well, in this case, we'll speak to you about EDO. Well, this is the end of our seminar, so please help yourself for coffee and tea and some cookies. And once again, really, really thank you for coming, especially during such a busy time. I know that there is the tercihler, like the selection. And as I said, we will be holding other seminars starting in September, and based on interest, we can do also individual sort of like sessions as well. Thanks very much. And if you have any feedback, please email me or contact me via phone. Okay? Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.